Hi guys, and welcome to my latest car review. This is of course the Toyota Yaris, the new fourth generation car that was introduced in 2020. Now I think the main thing that Toyota have focused on with this car is upping its personality and its styling. I mean, look at the front of this car. That's the most aggressive and sporty front end I've ever seen on the Toyota Yaris. And it's backed up by the side profile, because you look down there and see those bulging wheel arches, particularly at the back there. Puts you in mind of a rear-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive version. Of course this is front-wheel drive, but it does have that crazy Rally S GR brother, which I hope to maybe bring you a review of later this year, but that's a whole different car. We're going to focus on the regular Yaris, which is what this is. Prices for these in the UK start from about £21,000, and we only get it as a hybrid. So it's a 1.5 3-cylinder petrol electric hybrid, and it puts out 114 brake horsepower. It's good for 0 to 62 miles per hour acceleration in 9.7 seconds and a top speed of 109 miles per hour. Fuel economy on this car, because the new improved hybrid system is set to focus more on EV than petrol, they're claiming 68.8 miles per gallon fuel economy and emissions as low as 92 grams per kilometer CO2 on this car, which is actually pretty good. Now, in terms of the styling, it's fantastic. I love the way it looks. Compared to the old car, it's pretty much the same length, maybe fractionally shorter, but it has a longer wheelbase because the platform is now taken from the CHR, but it's a shorter version of that. It's also grown in width by about 5 centimeters and is slightly lower. So how does all of that impact its practicality, which is important for a car like this? Well, we're going to look into all of that, of course, as usual, plus take it for a drive. Before we do any of that, make sure that you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy. Make sure you subscribe to my blog, which is browncarguy.com. And of course, follow me on social media. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for my hashtag. It is hashtag browncarguy. And if you enjoy my videos and you can sponsor them, and I hope you can, then, and also you'll have your name coming up at the end of these videos, you can do that at patreon.com/Shazad Sheikh. I'll tell you more about that at the end of the video. Cool, let's get into this. You can see from this angle really a little bit more of that bulging rear wheel arch and that aggressive stance. And then plus check out these tail lights. Look at the strakes, look at the way that it's sculptured. There's a lot of visual interest in here. I really like the way that they've styled this new Yaris. It really stands out. Little button under here to open the tailgate, and you get a pretty big opening space. That's good. You get a little bit of a lip to get stuff over, but you've got a low floor, so you can put quite a few things in there. I suppose you could maybe just about get 2 medium-sized suitcases into there, but it's probably about on par compared to this segment of car in terms of its storage space. The batteries for the hybrid system actually live under the rear seats, so they don't necessarily affect the space here. And in fact, because of that, if I can lift this floor up, there is actually a space saver spare wheel in the back with a toolkit, so that's quite handy. And of course, if you do need more space, you can always drop the 60/40 split folding rear seats and get a few more extra things in there. Right, it's time to put that seat back up again and see if I fit in the rear passenger compartment. Right, so let's get this seat back up again. There you go, quite easy to do that. And now let's try. This is literally the first time I'm getting into the back of this new 2020 Toyota Yaris, and actually it's not too bad, you know, because this driver's seat is set for my driving position. That's set for me. I'm 6'2" with long legs. So with that in mind, it's not too bad. My knees are right inside the rear seat, admittedly, and I'm using up all of the extra soft zone that they've given us here. I'm pretty much using all of it because I need it. So it's right in there. But having said that, plenty of wiggle room for my feet. No problem with my shins there. And if this was fractionally forward, it would be fine. So I would say for normal sized adults, it wouldn't be a problem. I'm just tall and gangly, that's the problem. Not much else back here, no center armrest, no USBs, no vents. About what you'd expect for a Toyota Yaris, but nice trim with this sort of diamond-esque finish to the actual cloth center inserts there. And of course you do get Isofix child seat anchor points. I could maybe do with a bit more headroom as well, I think, just a little bit more So I think that really for regular size adults, and certainly for children, this wouldn't be a problem. But if you're on the taller side, you might really want to try it out for size before you decide to get one, because you could find it maybe just a little bit tight in the back. But let's see what the front is like. That's a different story. Here we go into the front of the Toyota Yaris, and traditional key where they flip out, no starter button, but you know what, I quite like that actually sometimes, you know, that goes into there. Look at this instrument binnacle, I like the way that they've designed that, really nice, some interesting features there. And when you turn it, of course no starter motor comes on, it just simply tells you that it's ready to go, because of course it's a hybrid car. You can also configure the settings on here, and of course I've got it set on, you know, so you got messages and economy and trip meter and all the rest of it. I like to keep it in this mode because this mode tells you, you know, how the hybrid system is actually working, how it's driving, what it's doing, and all the rest of it, you know. So it's quite interesting, and there's a bunch of other things in there that I could go through. You get, you know, all the usual stuff, you know, your radio and all the rest of it, your lane keep assist, and you've got your, of course, your trip meter information and all the rest of it, eco zone, how well you're driving, and all of that sort of stuff. Plain, clear, digital, very nicely done, very straightforward, easy to understand and comprehend all of that, which is important for Yaris owners, isn't it? And steering wheel, so the engine has come on now. I don't know if you heard that, and you can see now the power going from the engine to the battery, because that's what it's doing, because it's been sitting here a while, so the battery's probably depleted, so we'll see what it's like more on the go. Lots of remote control buttons on the steering, including your cruise control, all pretty straightforward, and this is what controls the screen over there. There's your volume, voice control, all the rest of it. Pretty straightforward down here, a bit of trim here, a nice sort of texture to this panel, which, you know, some people say it's plasticky, but it's a Yaris, you know, I mean, you know, yeah, but there's a little bit of an interest here with these colors and stuff like that. Power supply down there, and a USB point down there. Climate control, single zone, but it is climate control, so you can just set it and it's alright. No heated seats or anything on this one. Over here you've got the vents that are hidden, interestingly enough, underneath the screen, and in another tray there to put your phone and stuff like that if you want to. This is all configurable, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. I'll go into the another little tray there to put things and bits and bobs if you like. Decent sized glove box. And there you can see, you can almost put a little bottle in the door as well. Down here you've got your drive mode. So if I go through the drive modes, you can see that you've got power mode, which basically just stiffens up the steering wheel a little bit. And then probably adjust the throttle response and stuff like that. Eco mode, well, it's pretty economical anyway, so you know, it's configured to be economical. We'll try those on the go. You've got traction off, which I don't know what you need, and you've got EV mode, which nearly every time I've tried to turn it on, it goes no. So I think it's best just to let it decide for itself, honestly speaking. Cup holders down here, and an armrest. There is something in the armrest, another little compartment in there. That's quite handy. So that's good. So this car is the design. Pretty much I think at the moment that's what they're offering here. It's very well equipped. I mean, the only thing on here is metallic paint as an option, and everything else you got, you know, pre-collision system, intersection turn assistance, there you go, emergency steering assistance, oh dear, full speed range intelligent adaptive cruise control. So that's actually adaptive cruise control. I guess that's what those buttons are there, and of course lane keep assist as well. Front airbags, curtain shield airbags, front center airbags, stability control, all the rest of it. 8-inch screen, that one over there, tilt and adjustable telescopic wheel, height adjustable driver's seat. I'll come to the driver's seat in a minute. LED lights, all the rest of it. Acoustic windscreen, shark fin antenna. You always want your shark fin antenna, don't you? One thing that I noticed about this car compared to Yaris's in the past, and I have run some of those Yaris's long term as well, so I am quite familiar with them. But when you used to get into a Yaris, you knew that you were in a Yaris. You know, immediately you were sitting a little bit more upright. You were in a smaller car, and you felt like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's a Yaris. You know, it makes sense. Now, in keeping with the sportier style of this car, and of course the lower is slightly lower. I think they've lowered the seat or something, but I feel it's a bit more of a normal car seating position in this. I mean, I could get into this car and I wouldn't think, oh, Yaris. I'll get in this car and I could think, oh, I could be in a Corolla, quite frankly. So it's comfortable here in the front. It's not bad at all. And I think, it's a very nice place to be. Visibility all around is not bad at all. The rear looks to be a little bit small, but the ring mirrors work really well, and you do actually get a reverse camera on this spec, so that's pretty good as well. Like I said, lots of nice comfort features, a lot of little practical features, a lot of good comfort features in this car. No issues at all with headroom, leg room. In fact, I think there's a little bit of extra room here because, of course, the car is slightly wider, so you get a little bit more elbow room in here as well. So it's really, really comfortable. It's really, really nice place to be, and you don't feel like you're in, a smaller or that you've been shortchanged in any way whatsoever, especially with this full digital dash and all the rest of it. Next thing to do is to take it for a drive and see what it's like on the go. So let's take it for a little drive. We're in power mode at the moment. Steering's a little bit stiffer. You can see the engine is working overtime there. Engine actually is pretty quiet in this car, I have to admit. Most of the time you can't, and the hybrid technology has moved on so far, because most of the time you can't tell what it's doing when it's doing. If it wasn't for the display in front of me, the engine, like I said, I'm giving it a bit of acceleration at the moment, but normally it's very, very quiet. And then of course the transition between the two, like right now, I mean, apparently it's gone off now. But as you can see, I mean, that extra battery power does help with the performance and the acceleration. But this is a road that I often bring cars to see the ride quality, because it's extremely bumpy and it's quite crazy actually in some parts. This car at this sort of speed is not doing too badly. Funnily enough, at lower speeds around town, you do tend to get quite a bit of transmission of the impact of bumps, and not so much the sound, because it's very quiet and very refined. But as you can see there, I am being bounced around a little bit in the Yaris. Overall, driving the car, it is really, really quite smooth, very easy as you would expect from a Yaris, quite undemanding, good performance, good acceleration. That ride quality, like I said, on a smoother road, now that we're on a smoother road, it settles down and it's absolutely fine. But it will occasionally pick up, the ridges and bumps, like that. But it's not, it's not a deal wrecker. It's okay. It's fine. It's not an issue. It's a compact size car, even though it's maybe slightly wider than before. But you do feel like you can slot it into gaps. You can get it in and out of car parking spaces without any problem. Of course, there's a reversing camera and stuff to help you. But you feel quite assured driving this car, and it's not in any way intimidating whatsoever, as you would expect. The transmission, again, it's a CVT, but like the hybrid system, it is a developed version of the CVT, so it's not obtrusive in any way. I'm not going, oh god, it's a CVT. Even when you accelerate, it takes a while for so-called kickdown to happen, but you're not getting that whole kind of, like there's a rubber band trying to drastically pull it into another ratio or trying to get it to move or whatever. You don't really sense that. You just think, oh, okay, well, here we go, and off it moves. It's not really a problem. I wouldn't even say that it's got artificial step changes or anything like that, no paddles or anything like that, but it just seems to get on with its job. It's like, I think it's like part of the character of the driving character of the car, where it just kind of gets on with its job. It doesn't make itself apparent, it doesn't make itself obvious. You don't really need to know what's going on. You just need to know that everything is fine and everything is working as it should do, and you're motoring along the way as you should do. The handling, I've chucked it around a couple of corners, and it's small, it's tight, it's very agile, it's very planted, even in this wet weather that we're having at the moment. You don't feel that there's any issue with grip or anything like that. Reasonably well poised. If you really chuck it hard into a corner, you will feel that there's a little bit of understeer, but that's probably dialed in there for safety anyway. One thing I will say is that perhaps it's not quite as sharp on the turn in as you might expect a little car like this to be, but again, we journalists, we get into every car and we expect the cars to be sporty and engaging to drive, but sometimes they're not. They're designed to a remit. They're tuned to what they think that their clientele or their customer base should be. Having said that, it's not a disappointing drive. It's not a car that you go, didn't really enjoy that. You can have a little bit of fun with the car, no problem at all. So again, just nice, round that roundabout. It holds on very nicely, but it's not exactly pivoting around the corner. It's just holding on, and it's going, right, yeah, okay, I can do this. I can get round here. But it's not something that you're going, let's just chuck into this corner or chuck it into that corner. So, but like I said, it's sort of midway between being a very efficient and easy car to drive and being something that is engaging and sporty. So let's give it a try on a short motorway run. I mean, it's a small car, but with a wide footprint, So let's see how it performs on the motorway. We're just waiting for the 70 mile per hour bit. But so far, again, in this smoother tarmac, it's doing quite well. There's a little bit of jitteriness. It's not jarring. There's just a little bit of you can feel the surface of the road, but again, it's nothing, nothing too alarming. So let's build up the speed now, and see if it's impacted at all by wind buffeting or anything like that. Again, I'm using the cruise control. It is adaptive cruise control, so it's on. I've set the distance and all the rest of it, and pretty much you can just do that. And then of course it's got lane assist as well. So that is actually turning. Look at that. That's actually following the contour of the actual lane itself. I wouldn't trust it to let go of it the whole time, but it will do that for you. So there you go. A little bit of wind noise here, but nothing obtrusive. Again, same follows through with that whole Yaris character. Very smooth, very refined. Again, I could cruise up and down the motorway and not feel like I'm in a small car. I'm going to be overtaken now, but no sense of wind buffeting whatsoever. Feels very smooth. And to be honest, I feel like I don't feel intimidated at all. I feel like I'm, in a reasonable car on the motorway with no issues in terms of my height or visibility or anything like that. So it's all good. So there you go. This is a very good car. I think that it's an evolution of the Yaris, but I think what they've done here is they've decided that they've honed the Yaris to exactly what it needs to be already, because it was always a good car, and what they've decided to do now is to give it some personality, some character, some glamour, if you like, and some desirability, and they've done that in the styling with this car. And of course there is another version of it where they've done that with the performance, and stay tuned, and hopefully we'll try and bring you a review of that later in the year. But the main thing, I think that the main achievement of this car, I think, is to be able to carry through all of those positive traits of a Yaris, but adding the style, the character, the feel-good aspect of the car that basically makes it an even more desirable purchase than it ever was. So there you go. There's my review of the 2020 4th generation Toyota Yaris. Let me know what you thought of the review, the car, me, anything else you want to talk about. And of course, subscribe to youtube.com/browncarguy. Make sure that you're following me on browncarguy.com, and of course all the social media channels. Just search for my hashtag. It is #browncarguy. If you enjoy my content, then you can sponsor it, and you can do that at patreon.com/Shazad Sheikh, and you can join such amazing people as Muhammad Ali Omaid, Partha Srinivasan, Tom Conway Gordon, Isaac Beauchard, Reza Adil, Muhammad Qasim, Siraj Abbasi, and welcome to my latest Patreon sponsor from all the way over in Canada. It's Mark Waddell. So thank you so much to all of those guys. You can join them from as little as £2.50 a month, and find your name up in lights here at the end of my videos and other content as well. If you can't, don't worry, just continue to keep watching, liking, sharing, make sure that you are subscribing, and comment if you can, and all the rest of it. And I hope to see you all again soon in the next video.